If it makes you money or brings us happiness, you'll find it right here. This is The Purple Tie Show.
I said I was ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Welcome to today's show. It is the first episode of 2020.
The Year of Hindsight.
I was going to make the joke, hindsight is always 2020.
We're just going to get that joke out of the way now on the very first episode, and we'll just never say it again.
Nope, I'm going to use it again because I am Robert Martin and you
are Blake Singleton.
You are.
I are.
I are Blake Singleton.
Yeah.
So, first episode.
I are Baboon. Some people out there will get that, but not a lot.
I don't get it at all. You and your
you don't remember I
you
Am
and your
Weasel?
Iced coffee in the middle of the wintertime.
It's 70 degrees today.
It's Alabama. That's what it is. I had somebody tell me the other day, I ran my heat and the air conditioner both in one day. And I was like, okay, I would pick to either be a little too warm or a little too cold, but I would not swap my heat and cool. Like once it goes on heat, I refuse to turn the air conditioner back on.
Fun side tangent. One year, the AC unit at the shop broke and was running the heat and the air conditioner at the same time.
That was almost an $800 phone bill.
It was
an
an
$800 phone bill.
Sure was. $800 electricity
The electric
bill.
company called me and was like, $800, please. So I want to visit a topic that we talked about several podcasts back about content.
Okay.
And creating content.
Okay.
So the note that I have made long ago in a time far, far away.
I love these cryptic notes because we're like, I'll remember exactly what this
yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
I have no clue.
I have no clue.
No context to what it used to be.
So it's about courses, weekend workshops, and Fight Club sessions. Now, Fight Club sessions is something me and Stoley came up with together.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have Stoley on the show one day.
He should be on the show. I bet you that'd be awesome.
That would be an awesome show. So Stoley runs a marketing company in New Jersey. Good friend of mine. We chat all the time, and we have what we call Fight Club sessions, where we talk about like really high level stuff that we wouldn't tell anyone else.
Yeah.
Like if we're working through an issue or we have a problem or we just think of this amazing outreach thing, we'll have what we call Fight Club session where we talk about it and we just promise not to tell anyone else. That's the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
And here
kids,
I am talking about Fight
ask
Club.
Ask your parents what Fight Club is.
Yeah, if you're under the age of
I don't even know.
Like
it came out in like 99 or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like the benefits of having a Fight Club session is not the Fight Club session itself. It's the person that you're talking to. You need that person to bounce your ideas off of and someone you can trust, not to take the idea and run somewhere with it.
Well, here's the thing. My whole thing with the Fight Club is, one, I have some ideas that I don't want, the world to know because I'm sure just like, and I forget who said it, but they were like, if you have a business idea, you need to get on the largest, tallest building and shout it from the rooftops.
Right, because nobody's going to do anything with it, but they'll just tell you everything that's wrong.
Right, and it's like, okay, but certain marketing ideas, I'm just like, I don't know if I really want to like let that out.
Yeah.
Like, I thought of one today because I was looking for stupid stuff on Amazon that I didn't need. Amazon is the best place ever for business ideas. But I found these little, they are fake cherries,
Okay.
right? They look like
plastic?
they look like actual factual cherries and they're super realistic, but they're made out of plastic.
Okay.
So they're totally mailable, right?
Oh, you can mail them. Okay.
And I was like, what if you worked the campaign around the cherry on top? Right?
Your gimmick campaigns get on my nerves sometimes.
But they work so well.
They do, but they get on my nerves. Like Let Us Be Your Lifesaver was one where we mailed lifesavers out. And then there was one about
it was great.
not being a dinosaur and getting with the thing. We mailed out tiny little dinosaur toys.
Which was great.
And then
we recently mailed candy bars, which was amazing.
But see, that's different. You're not building a campaign around the candy bar. You were just like, hey, I talked on the phone with you. Here's a candy bar. Remember me?
Yeah, well, then there's some other things in there. But we won't let all of our secrets out.
There was some other stuff. But, I mean, the candy was relevant to the season. I mean, we just got out of the Happy Ho-Ho season.
Yeah. The Santa. And we can't really send out champagne.
No.
I guess we could.
Don't they make champagne-flavored jelly beans?
I will have to check on that. I'll have to check on that and get back with you. So... I like the Fight Club sessions, and I feel like everyone should have that one person, right? That's kind of how the highly unpaid intern come about. Was he is really, really focused on business and numbers and statistics and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he's like you with business. Business is his hobby.
He doesn't want to do business. He wants to work for...
Yeah, he wants to be a worker, but he has good ideas.
I mean, he works with building rockets and stuff, so it's kind of cool, right?
He's an employee. He's not a manager. He's not an owner.
Right.
He's an employee.
And he's climbing the corporate ladder, which there's nothing wrong with.
It just wasn't for you.
It wasn't for me. Well, I didn't do well. Yeah, we talked about that. We won't talk about that.
Boss in the nose.
So, not everyone's cut out for ladder climbing.
That's true.
And some people, their ladder's a little different. It's
curvy or short.
Well, no, I was going to go with their ladder is a business. When we first started repairing computers for a living, it was like, man, this is the best thing ever for the first 3 years. And then suddenly I was like, man, this is a job.
Yeah.
This is a work.
It really did. It turned into a job. And the worst part about that was just finding new clients. That was I guess that's always the hard part, but it was just really awful with that particular company. Because
you're not in a good, fast, and cheap pick too. Right? And we said that many, many times. If you are an auto mechanic, right?
Yep.
How often do you hear, well, my cousin Jim Bob, he can fix that for all I got to do is buy the alternator and he'll put it on for me.
Yeah, it'll take
Why
him a month.
You charging me $80?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have you fixed in 20 minutes. And if anything goes wrong, you can come back and see me. If your cousin Billy Bob messes it up putting it in, you're going to have to buy a second alternator because they're not going to give you another one.
Yep.
But they don't think about that. But with computers, it's like, hey, yeah, my 8-year-old nephew can put that video card in for me and make it work. And
Yep.
I mean, it may take him 2 days or all day.
Yeah.
And it's child labor. Just throwing that out there. You people, y'all need to think about that. But I'm going to have it done in 5 minutes and it's going to be right and the drivers are going to be updated. And
it's
blah,
the
blah,
same
blah.
thing as the $10,000 for the guy to come out and tap on the engine with a hammer.
Yeah. It's
I
think I've used that. It's not the...
It's $10 for the hammer and $9,990 for
the
experience.
25 years of experience. So, but that's where Fight Club sessions come in. I think that in business, and we're going to talk about this topic in another podcast, probably in the next week or two. A lot of doctors, a lot of dentists, a lot of surgeons, a lot of business owners, period, they don't business well, right?
True.
We can make this anything you want to make it. Let's take, little Miss Sue that owns a bakery. She's not a business person. She's a baker.
Right.
She loves baking cakes.
Here's a good example. We had in the shop a couple of months back, somebody brought in a computer. They had bought it was a bakery /
So, funny thing, you can't breathe tea. If y'all heard that abruptly shut off, it's because I nearly died.
There's been a 5-minute gap between the last clip and this one.
Well, no, part of it was laughing and the other part was coughing.
That's true.
So, you were going somewhere when I nearly suffocated.
So this couple brought in a computer to the shop, and they had bought a. It's sort of like a Cold Stone Creamery type of place.
Okay.
From another person, and the other person had wiped the computer because it had all of their
financial data
and stuff like that.
Right.
But they had no idea how to use the software. Like, we had to put the software back on there. We had to teach them how to use the software.
Was it like an inventory kind of thing?
It was just QuickBooks. They had no idea how to use it.
Wow.
It was QuickBooks with the inventory module. So it was like QuickBooks wholesale or something. It wasn't what they actually needed, but it had the inventory module and stuff like that built in there, and it was just they weren't sure how to use it. They didn't understand, like, it was going through and they were like, what's tax tables? And I'm like, dude, if you don't know what tax tables are, you really need to rethink opening this business.
No, you just better have a really good accountant.
So, but it was a husband and wife team. They came in, they were like, hey,
well,
you
don't know anything about business. A lot of, think about doctors, right? They go to school for, a gajillion years.
Yeah.
And then they get out and dentists. Okay, let's not even talk about plastic surgeons, doctors, stuff like that. Let's talk about dentists. Because dentists, they don't have like a hospital they can go work in, or like another practice or whatever. They got two options. They can go in with an established practice under another dentist and get paid either by the person or hourly or whatever. I don't know how that would work.
I don't either.
Or they can go out and start their own practice. Well, and I've always said this, I think in high school, starting in high school, they want to talk about, algebra and trigonometry and blah, 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 blah. And they're sending kids out into the world that can't even balance a checkbook.
There's no such thing as checkbooks anymore. Just saying.
God, I hate you. So, okay, well, they can't balance their debit card.
That's true.
They can't balance their bank account. That's what I should say.
Yeah, they can't.
And so I really feel like that's something that, back in the day, they should have taught that. They should teach that in school. It's
something I struggled with whenever I got out of high school and got my first checking account because,
And I guess, they put to, they're like, oh, well, all it is simple addition and subtraction. Right. But then the bank makes it complicated with like fees and things that haven't posted that are pending. And so you technically don't have that money in your account.
Right.
But you will when it's not. Like, they don't teach that.
Yeah.
It's just something that they don't teach. And I think they should, because a lot of people get into the middle of, business and realize, I don't know anything about business.
We didn't have a home economics course in school. You said you did.
I did. You know what I learned how to do? Bake pound cake and wash clothes.
But see, that doesn't make any sense. Home economics should be making a budget, tracking your expenses.
We learned how to make a mean pound cake.
Learn how to balance your bank account, checkbook, debit card.
Nope. We did no math. You know what we did in home ec? We learned to sew, which still comes in handy every once in a while. We learned how to wash clothes, how to bake, and how to... I don't even think we learned...
Probably couldn't use a cooktop, like a range.
I was going to say, I don't even think we learned to cook like proper breakfast or anything. We learned how to shove stuff in the oven and let it go.
Yeah.
So... I feel like it would have been a lot better. Oh, and we learned how to work a sewing machine, which, whatever. That was my home economics class.
I feel like that's probably a lot of people's at home economics classes.
So,
but they should really have a business.
They should have a business section in home ec, or even math.
We talked about the Fight Club session. Let's move on to the weekend workshop.
Weekend workshops, they're becoming very popular.
Yes.
So, well, we'll talk about the next two, right? Because courses,
It sort of goes together.
They go together.
Yeah.
So, back a couple of years ago, probably 3 years ago, online courses were the thing, right? And we make fun of them, most of them, because the price is always $9.97. I don't care. I don't care what. Now the value proposition is always above 10 grand. I mean, never below 10 grand. Some of them are even 20, and they're selling it for the amazingly low price of only $9.97. And it's amazing to see the different online courses. I'm doing air quotes. I don't know why. This is why we should make this a video podcast.
We couldn't do today's podcast video.
Oh, no. It's like, right around Christmas, I'm lazy. I'm like, I don't even have shoes on.
Oh, you don't?
Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, well. Hey, it's late. Actually, it's not late. It's like 1:30 in almost 2 o'clock.
It's almost 2 o'clock.
So, but everyone had a course. And they had a course about everything. How to get clients, how to run Facebook ads, how to do Instagram ads, how to...
Well, now you're in the business and advertising section, but really it's everything. Design courses, video game programming courses, art courses.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
Let me show you how to art better.
Yeah.
And, here's what the course is. Typically, it is a single person who... In other words, one person made the whole course.
Yeah.
Typically, they have a day job, at least for now.
Yep.
Or they recently quit their day job to teach people, whatever, right? So it could be anything from...
Well, let's just use the Facebook ads course that you took way back in the day. This is your... Well, your introduction was something else, I think, another course. But this was the one that I remember.
My introduction was... Facebook for Entrepreneurs. It was FAFE. And anyway, Facebook made them change the name of the group in the course because
he couldn't use the word.
Yeah, it was
Facebook.
trademarked. I mean, come on. But
so you got that course. It was $9.97 if I remember correctly. You breezed through it in about 4 hours, I want to say.
Yes.
Yep. And it was one dude sitting in front of his computer, occasionally taking video of his computer or him on a phone call to show the sales process.
Or him on a whiteboard or whatever. I mean, the point is it was one dude with a camera and a microphone and sold this for $9.97. Now, dudes made millions selling this $9.97 course. And here's why. So, and I see this a lot. I actually do a weekend workshop on how to business, how to get clients, how to, define your message, how to, polish your pitch is what I like to call it.
And, side tangent, we had a friend of ours that I think would be really proud of where you've gotten as far as polishing your pitch. Tina.
Yeah.
Tina would be very proud of you.
She would be very proud that I have, now I'm in the realm of, hey, here's how you sell this, here's how you sell marketing.
Yeah.
And...
I guess what I wanted to get out of this whole section, just in general, is be careful.
Yes. Well, there's a course out there for all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, luckily there's not a, $9.97 dentistry course. I mean, that's not something that's, maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't searched the dark web for it yet, but I'm sure it's out there.
Here's how to extract a molar.
Oh, man, that's bad. So, but there's tons of people that's done this $9.97. And this goes back to, we started this whole conversation off talking about content, right? Creating content. Now, these are people that created content with the specific goal of selling it.
Yes.
And they were like, I could sell this for because the going rate on the internet was $9.90. Like, I can literally watch a webinar pitch.
Yep.
And like calculate the price before the end.
Oh, sure.
And it's going to be one of like three numbers.
Yep.
It's either $497,
Yep.
$997,
Yep.
or $1497.
Yep. And those are thousands.
Yeah.
1,497,
Yeah.
497, 997.
Yeah. So I guess I should put some, explanation behind that. My point is, though, that started off as content. You're just as, let's say you're a dentist. Content could be as easy as taking one of those little, mouth pieces that have the teeth in it that freak me out.
Sure. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know the little thing they show you, and it's like the inside of your mouth.
You mean the mold?
Yeah, and they point at, you have this tooth, and it's like a mold of a person's mouth, but it's got teeth in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called a mold.
So you could take that and talk about, how to brush, the proper method of brushing.
Yep.
You could talk about, oral hygiene. You could talk about tons and tons of things and create content based around that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and you don't have to sell it. It could be for educational purposes.
Right.
And then the, let's say, let's go the other way with that. Let's say you're a plastic surgeon. You could do YouTube videos, do explainer videos, do explainer, podcasts. You could do tons and tons of content for that. Bariatric surgery. Now, I know for a fact, in order for insurance to cover, and I think it's even if insurance doesn't cover it, they make you go through a seminar before you can go actually through with the surgery.
The same thing for stem cell injections.
Yes.
You have to go through the seminar before you go through with the procedure.
And they always tell you the pros and the cons, and
Yes.
this is what the treatment does, this is how the treatment works, and they go through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that weekend workshop would go in.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say, we have a client right now that goes to a couple of events around town, like Huntsville Ready Fest and a couple other little health seminars. And she's a nutritionist, and so she'll go, and that's her weekend.
Her weekend workshop.
Yeah, weekend workshop. You just meet people, shake hands, things like that.
Hand out information and just be there and answer questions and... Yeah,
right.
That's her weekend workshop.
And I don't know how. So I'm thinking about this. I don't know how, like a dentist or a plastic surgeon or orthodontist could do like a weekend workshop.
I don't know that they could. This is more just a
business
in general
thing. Yeah,
thing.
Business in general.
You were talking, and I was trying to see who it was, and I don't know that I found the right one. But I had a friend of mine who was telling me about this book that he really liked called Monster Island. It started off as a series of short stories posted to the author's website. And he went back and took those blog posts that you could read for free. Just go to his website, read his blog. You could read it for free.
Okay.
And he tightened up the story, took out some of the extraneous stuff, and created a book out of it. And then he sold the book. And he's, like a AAA author now. I don't know how they grade authors. It's a AAA.
Is it a lot like grading baseball cards?
I don't know.
Okay, so...
But anyway, he took the content that he was writing, and he turned it into a book. And lots of people do that. Penny Arcade is a webcomic. And they... archive all of their web comics, and I think they've got like 6 books out now where they've just taken 40 or 60 or 80 of these comics and compiled them into a book and sold it.
So now I think this would be a stretch. Well, I don't know, not really. I mean, people write books about different things. I mean, there's books on literally anything under the sun.
Sure is.
Yep. You can buy books on, landscaping and, yard stuff. You can buy, obviously, cookbooks. You can buy home DIY books. So why couldn't you So I'm going to throw this out there for a lead generation business. So this would be like an insurance agency, right?
Yeah.
A plastic surgeon, not really a dentist. I don't think a general dentist would use this. An orthodontist could use this. So you create your blog post and you write all these articles, and you can go to the website and read these blog posts, but then you make a book, like a little free giveaway book. I don't know. Siri didn't get that.
Yeah.
So
about that.
you make this little book, right? About, let's say it's about braces.
Yeah.
Everything you need to know about braces.
Ebooks. Ebooks are another big thing.
Well, then they're cheap.
Yeah.
We published an ebook once.
We were going to make another one.
We were. We may still make another one. But that's content that you can give away.
Yes.
Right behind a paywall. And for those, okay, so I'm kind of getting into marketing tech and speak and stuff. A paywall is where you have to give something to get the free thing.
And it doesn't have to be money necessarily.
Right. Well, otherwise it wouldn't be a free thing.
Right.
So you ask for, name, email address. Some people ask for a phone number to get this free ebook about everything you need to know about braces.
Yes.
Right? So then what does that orthodontist have?
It has a hot lead, basically.
Right. Someone who is actually interested in braces, whether it's for themselves or a kid or whatever, but now they have someone who they know is interested about braces.
Right.
And now you have, your patient coordinator, or, maybe you have someone designated to do that kind of follow-up. They take that name, email, and phone number, and they reach out to the person. Hey, I see you downloaded our free book about this, our free ebook about this. Just wanted to, let you know if you have any questions, feel free to call our office.
Right.
And just make that initial contact and then explain why you're the best option.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the ebook would actually do a lot of that for you.
Well,
because
you can't make the ebook like a giant sales pitch.
No, but you could also put at the end, the same thing we did, if you have any problems.
If you have any problems or questions, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, give us a call, contact us online, however. It's all just a way to funnel people into your business.
And that's why it's called a sales funnel. And that's what it's all about.
It is.
So let's take this weekend workshop to the next level, because we typically work with medical, period. That is what we work with. But let's say you are perfect example. I have a perfect example. I was sitting here struggling. I was like, how am I going to work that in? I figured it out. Med spas.
Yes.
Right? Med spas do all kinds of things. They do Botox injections. They do cool sculpting. They do laser hair removal. They do like all these different things. Now, if you took that med spa and you made a mobile med spa out of it.
Okay.
Right? Made a couple little banners.
Like a food truck.
Not quite. Like, you ain't going to do it there.
Okay.
But okay, so think about ours, right? At SMA. We had the big banners, we had the nice tablecloth, we had the information.
Oh, I
so
see
you go and set up.
Okay, I got
and
you.
Create a weekend workshop where you talk all about, I don't remember what. I know it's called an esthetician is what, they call the person that does the, like everything but the injections, right? Yeah. The doctor has to do the injections.
Yeah.
But you make an educational workshop.
You know who comes to mind?
And you make that a, 10 ways to lose 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Before spring break.
You know who comes to mind whenever you start talking about that specific scenario? Empowered healers.
Yes.
Kelsey and Vanessa. I feel like a weekend workshop for them would be great. Like a perfect additional thing for their business.
So, and it would be, okay, as bad as I hate to say this, it would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm equating this to this. So y'all forgive me up front. Have you ever been to one of those timeshare meetings where you just go for the free lunch because you know it's going to be a sales pitch from the start?
Yep.
So that's considered a weekend workshop.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, they pull you in for typically a Saturday or maybe a Friday afternoon. They feed you dinner or lunch or whatever. And for the free dinner or lunch, you have to agree to listen to their sales pitch.
Yeah, they used to give you like a chance to win a vacation or something like that, right? Wasn't that
Well,
part
you
of it?
know, times are a little tougher than they used to be.
Can't just give away them
Can't
plane
just give
tickets.
away plane tickets no more. Well, the Boeings are falling out of the sky, so
That's true.
They can't afford to give away many of
The
those.
Boeings.
You know how bad it is? They can't even get their spacecraft liner thing to sync up times with the GPS coordinates.
Oh,
And we won't go there because it makes the
Highly
paid
unpaid
intern
intern
really
upset.
mad. He'd be upset if we got it wrong. So
So-
I'm just not going to talk about it.
Here's what I was thinking, right? You can't specifically make a course or a weekend workshop for a dentist. What you could do is make a course, because this is more in line of what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You would make a course on how to sell specifically to dentists or orthodontists or...
You know, if we wanted, I think, you know, wow. I know, just so
that
you know.
whole sentence was not a sentence.
I
It
know,
was
but just so
words.
you know, for any dentist or orthodontist or plastic surgeons or anyone in the medical field who's listening, I won't do this, but you know how you make a $9.97 course and you make a bajillion dollars? You make a $9.97 course and you teach people how to pitch marketing services, either whether it be Facebook ads, Instagram ads, SEO, pay-per-click advertising, you know, marketing services.
Yep.
How do you pitch it to dentists?
Yeah.
And you niche it down to, we're going to teach you how to pitch this to the medical field.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't charge $9.97 for it because now it's a specialty thing and you can charge
The
$14.97.
$14.97.
Well, you know, I've seen
Or maybe
some,
$19.97.
No, I've seen some specialty courses go for upwards of $5,000.
Yeah, well.
If you have a turnkey solution. This is the email templates. This is the, you know. And what's weird is a lot of these people, so I remember Grant Cardone saying, you know, because a lot of these influencers and, you know, people that selling the 997 courses, they'll go rent a Lambo or they'll go rent a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce or whatever, or they'll take all the money they have and fly to, like, you know, some quaint island. They're like, oh, I made so much money, I'm flying first class, I have a private jet, blah, blah, blah. And I remember Grant Cardone saying, you know, you can't fake a jet.
You can fake a Lambo, but you can't fake a jet.
Yeah, you can fake a Lambo, but you can't fake a jet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, want to bet?
Yeah, you can
Because
fake
I've
anything.
got friends at a municipal airport close to Huntsville that has private aircraft.
Yeah.
Right? And I think I remember seeing a small jet, like a small Gulf whatever.
Probably.
And, you know, you go up to the owner of the jet, right? And it's typically owned by 10 or 12 people and they share it, right?
Right.
You go up and you say, hey, I tell you what, I'm going to pay you $100 if you let me use your jet on the ground for 1 hour. I need to do a photo shoot with it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Done.
And they're like, $100 for an hour? Pass it over.
Yep.
That'll put like 15 minutes of fuel in the tank.
Yeah.
You know, so you can fake it.
Yes.
You know, and that's the issue, is there's so many people on the internet that have these 997 courses and these, you know, I got suckered into one the other day. So I go and get pixeled on purpose. Mm-hmm. It's where you visit someone's website so they can retarget you with their marketing and Facebook ads and things like that.
Yeah, just so you can see what other people are doing.
Oh, yeah, because I want to know. And for some reason, Facebook thinks that I am either a chiropractor or a dentist. It can't make up its mind which one I am. And so I get all the ads for both of them. And it's amazing to see these people that's like, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I've helped, dentists build, $1 million practice in only 2 months. And it's like, that's false. That is crap.
Yeah.
And they're charging, they obviously have a free webinar that you can go to, which is AKA
the sales pitch.
The sales pitch. It's the timeshare sales pitch is what a webinar is. If you ever get suckered into a webinar, it's the timeshare sales pitch. I almost said something bad.
Yeah, you did. I really dislike webinars because in the beginning, excuse me, Lord, those fish oil pills are really fighting their way back up. Anyway, in the beginning of the webinar, 15 years ago or whenever they first started happening, they were actually useful.
Oh, yeah. They give you actual useful advice and tips and tricks. And
then they started charging for them.
Which I thought was a great idea.
So the popularity sort of dropped off on the webinars. And then they came back, but they came back as sales pitches. Mm-hmm. And it's always sales pitches. And
it's always an hour.
It's always an hour, never longer.
No. And the reason behind that, so the whole thing is psychology, right?
Yeah, it is.
So you have to keep them invested, right? Because if they spend an hour with you, they're invested, more likely to buy.
Perfect example. I was watching a webinar 2 years ago now, 2 or 3, whenever we were doing the chatbot stuff.
Yeah.
And I was specifically watching because they said they were going to build a bot from start to finish for a real estate company in less than 10 minutes, right? So I was waiting for that, and I expected them to do that at the beginning and then have questions afterwards, right? It wasn't. It was a pitch for their platform for 45 minutes. Then it was like 3 minutes of him rushing through building this bot where I couldn't take notes or watch or really comprehend what he was doing. And then 4 minutes or 5 minutes of Q&A, and he ended at like the 56-minute mark or something like that. So I got no value out of that webinar. None.
Well, I can think of a couple of those that it's just a giant sales pitch.
Yeah.
And they start selling at about the 30-minute mark.
This guy started selling right off the bat.
Well, and they're like, if I were able to do blah, 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 how many of you would find value in that? Give me a hell yeah in the comments if you find value in this, stupid asinine thing that I just described. And then they're like, yeah, right on. I see, Mary says hell yeah. This person says hell yeah.
You know what always gets me about that too? You can't see any of the comments in your chat.
No.
Like this, it really, really, really feels like a
You're
pre-recorded.
the only person in there.
Yeah, it feels like it's a pre-recorded session, and you're the only person in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful. It's awful.
Well, and if you notice, whenever they start, they're like, now, if you have questions, we may not get around to everybody's questions, but ask them in the chat, and we'll follow up with you after the webinar. What happens is you ask the question, it sends the question via email to the person that made the webinar, and then via email you get a response back, and it's very shady.
It's just another way of them getting you hooked. It's another way to get in, and if you're going to create content, you're going to do webinars, put value in there.
Right.
Do not just make it a sales pitch for an hour.
Right, and that's the biggest issue that I see with most content on the web is it's a sales pitch for something else.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, 5 unknown, blah, 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 and you give them actual useful 5 things they probably didn't know about this thing.
Yeah.
And how to fix it. Yeah. Right. And then make your offer at the end. Yeah. Hey, by the way, if you have, questions or you'd like help with whatever, feel free to contact our office. Now, the course is not the big thing. And this podcast is going to like be forever and a day as far as length goes, I think, other than me almost dying in the beginning.
We worked past that. Don't nobody remember that.
So the new thing now, and why we decided to put weekend workshops on here, is live events.
I wasn't aware this was the new thing.
This is the new thing. So there is a couple of people, and I hate that I'm not going to mention them by name.
Please don't.
And I'm not going to tell you what they do. But there's a guy who is all about building and monetizing Facebook groups. Now,
yes,
Facebook says that's a no-no, right? You're not really supposed to monetize a group because a group is supposed to be for a bunch of people with like-minded people to be able to get together and discuss their, whatever they like, whether that's knitting or whatever, right? Unless it's guns, because that's not allowed on Facebook. It is. You just can't talk about selling guns or whatever. Right. It's weird. So there's really weird stuff that goes against community standards too.
Well, you can thank...
Which that's a whole new...
You can thank all of the racists
for
that.
So racist people that's buying and selling guns and drugs over groups.
Yep.
Child pornography is a big thing.
On Facebook?
They have the group to start the whole thing. And then they take that offline into the dark web. But the group is a way to... so
I wasn't aware of that. I thought they really weren't allowed
it goes against community standards. But again, people speed every day. It's not until they get caught.
That's true.
Right? And that's the big issue. But you've got, trafficking, human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's a Facebook group disguised as whatever to help human trafficking, right? I'm almost certain that that's a thing.
Wow.
So, but there's lots of bad things that can go on in Facebook groups, and then there's some really good things too. Where you talk about, entrepreneurship and maybe knitting or felting or lots and lots of hobbies, right?
Right.
And there's a guy that has made it his thing, like that's his thing, is to travel around and he teaches people how to make Facebook groups and monetize them.
Okay.
And it's a live, in-person, come in, sit down behind a table and learn how to do this.
Wow, so it's come full circle, is what
you're saying. It has come full circle. Because in my day...
Before the webinar...
So in my day... in my heyday, when I became a certified HIPAA security and privacy officer specialist, I traveled all over the Southeast teaching live events, HIPAA and daily practice.
They have a special word for that? I feel like there was a special word for that I'm just not thinking of.
Seminars,
that's it. Yeah.
Seminars.
Yeah.
So I would travel around and give seminars, and I charged, couple $100 a head. Everybody that came in got a free,
quote,
I'm
unquote,
using air quotes, free book, right? HIPAA and daily practice. And then it was a 2-day course.
Right. And it was 8 hours a day?
Yes, it was 8 hours it was about 6 hours of teaching because you had 4 hours in the morning. You had a 1 hour lunch break. You come back, finish up in about 2 more hours.
Yeah.
And then you had like an hour of Q&A and then an hour of mingling.
Yeah.
And then the next day you would finish the other half, right? So the first day would be all about privacy. And then the second day would be all about security.
So now they went from seminars to webinars. They just basically moved that online.
I mean, think about it though. If you could take a seminar... Because I was traveling. I was going everywhere from... I traveled from Louisiana north and as far as Georgia. So Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama.
Louisiana to Georgia, up to Tennessee.
Kentucky.
North? Kentucky.
I think I did one in Kentucky. Did one in North Carolina because the state paid me to come out there and do that.
That's a hike.
Yeah, it was a 12-hour hike. So
But if you could take that,
But if you take
shove
that
it online,
and shove it online, now you don't have the travel fees.
But
you don't have the
now-
hotel rooms,
but see,
and you can do it around the world.
yeah. But now, like you said, people have gotten so tired of the sales pitch webinars because that's all they are anymore.
Yep.
Now it's back to seminars. Come to my seminar. It's 2-day seminar, 2-day workshop,
You know why?
weekend workshop.
You know why? It's because seminars, you charged for them. People came, they learned, right? And then it started kind of getting into this, timeshare kind of seminar where you lure them in with lunch, you teach them a little something about it, and then it was a sales pitch,
Yeah.
right? And so people got turned off on that. And then you had, about that time, the web became really, stout.
Let's be for real. Back whenever webinars first came out, there wasn't enough bandwidth really to watch a
webinars.
true webinar.
So I did my hip and daily practice stuff in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And let's see, 2000 and it was right around 2000, 2001 was when I did all my hip and daily practice stuff. And then about 2003 or 4, you finally had enough bandwidth to do webinars. And so then webinars became the thing.
Do you think that webinars would still be a popular form of education if they charged for them?
So here's the issue with that though. Well, one, what you charge for it, right?
I would say charge the same thing.
You'd make
Let's say it's a HIPAA and daily practice webinar, and you can have as many people in there as you want, right?
Well, now I'm thinking that they do that now. I have to look it up, and I'm sure it's a few $100s.
Yeah.
For the thing, and you get, instead of getting a book, now you get a digital book, and
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the actual webinar, and I think it depends on the actual niche that it's in.
Okay, another question. I know you really enjoy watching some of Gary Vee's stuff. I know you enjoy...
I've become less of a fan, but I do enjoy some Gary Vee.
You enjoy some of Gary Vee. You enjoy some of Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
There's some other people, but those are the first two that come to mind. If they were going to do a live webinar, right? A live event, but it was a webinar, and they were charging $50 a head to view, but you had the chance to do Q&A at the end, would you do it?
And here's the problem.
Yep.
My mentality.
Yes.
If it's on the internet, it's free.
That's everyone's mentality.
Everyone's mentality, if it's on the internet, it's free.
I have moved, the more I have gotten into Apple and the App Store, I have gotten more comfortable.
Are we going to talk about subscriptions? Is that why we're...
Well, I wasn't planning
We
on
were
it.
gonna, but I don't know that we're going to have
now
time.
we've been on for like 40 minutes or something.
10 minutes of coughing. And...
Yeah. But I mean, the more I use the App Store and the more I use an iPhone and iPad, the more comfortable I get with the concept of paying for digital goods. You would think with me being an avid video gamer that digital goods would be old news. Digital video games, digital downloadable content.
I'm upset. One of the games I just bought, half the stuff is in a DLC.
Yeah.
I can't even get power packs without, paying money online. It's like, why?
Yeah. But
I was going to say a lot of people in the Android world, right? Because you come from the Android world.
yeah, well,
They're not paying for an app.
No.
Those apps are free.
Yeah.
Why are they free?
Advertisements.
So they're not really free.
Yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast. I for a little while was using a browser called Brave, and you had the option to turn on rewards. Brave blocks all advertisements, right? All of them.
Okay.
but you have the option to turn on Brave Rewards, and it will give you occasional pop-ups that you can either click on or not. And if you click on them, you earn a Bitcoin-like digital currency called a BAT, or a basic attention token. And that's really what advertisements are. They're attention things. You have their attention. They have your attention.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving them that in order to use the application or the website or whatever that you're using.
I don't know when my mind shifted to, it's okay to pay for things on the internet.
I can tell you when mine was, and it was way later than I thought it would be. But go ahead.
Well, what was yours?
About 4 years ago, whenever we got Creative Cloud.
Yeah. Well, now that's a good point. Creative Cloud, which is, creativity tools for drawing, vectors and logos and like.
This is Adobe Creative Cloud. It's Photoshop, Illustrator, Dreamweaver, Premiere, Audition.
And you've just confused half our listeners.
Well, just look it up. Just look up Adobe Creative Cloud.
Adobe. It's for art people.
It's for business.
Yeah, business stuff. But we've yet to get a CD of that. It has all been. They take a lot of money every year.
Yeah,
we won't say how much.
It's a yearly subscription.
And we just get a subscription for that. That it's ours to keep. Now I'm interested to see, and then we'll get back to the content thing, and we'll talk about the whole iPhone on a subscription. Everything's a subscription.
Yeah.
At the end of your subscription for an iPhone, so let's say you stick it on your Apple Card.
Oh, we've shifted now. We're to iPhone subscriptions.
No, we're going to get back to this. We're going to touch bases.
Okay.
Because I'm going to prep it for the next podcast when we talk about this. I'm wondering at the end of the iPhone subscription if the iPhone is yours or if you have to turn it back in. Or if you stop using it, do they just brick it?
Is it like a lease?
I don't know. See, I know that's things that I would want to know.
Oh, I need to make a note. I need to make an out of context note so I'll never remember what I was actually thinking.
We actually use Apple Notes on the iPhone so that we can share the note between the two of us. We should share it with the highly unpaid intern as well.
Oh, he would just rip it apart, and he would.
Yeah, he would. He'd be opinionated. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Jacob's never opinionated. So,
okay.
Are you done making your note
now? It's all misspelled and incomprehensible, but yeah.
That's amazing. So back to the content and, would you pay for a webinar?
Yes.
Right? Because we were talking about...
Would you go to a Gary Vee or...
That's how we got off on the Creative Cloud and subscriptions and stuff. So, and the answer to that is, I don't know. It's kind of like... Okay, so my seminar last month for SMA, they live streamed it on YouTube.
For free?
For free. So,
but in order to go to the actual conference, you had to pay however much it was.
Right, you had to pay. But you also didn't get the CME credits if you didn't go to the conference. Like, you had to be there to get the CME credits. And then, but they streamed it on YouTube.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how you would put that behind a paywall. Right, and I'm sure there's a way, and we'd find it in 5 minutes if we did a little research.
Yeah, well, but we weren't planning on talking about this specifically.
Right, we're off on a side tangent. So, if you were to put a webcam in front of the podium, and Gary Vee and Grant Cardone usually don't use podiums because they run all over the stage and flail their arms, and you think they're on something. I'm pretty sure Grant Cardone.
I was going to say,
something.
But I was like, no.
He's high on life. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I mean, he's a multi-bajillionaire. But if I had a multi-bajillionaire dollars, I'd probably be Grant Cardone too, running around with my rules. So I don't know. The truth of it is, one, what am I going to learn?
Yeah.
Right. Two, if I'm sure that my question's going to be answered and it's actually going to be answered by, Gary Vee or Grant Cardone and not one of their minions.
Yeah. One of the things, see, I'm sort of rethinking my entire question now because I'm like, okay, I probably wouldn't go to a Gary Vee webinar or a Grant Cardone webinar, but what if I had the option to pay for a live streaming concert, right? Let's say I wanted to see a concert and I couldn't go, but they were going to offer me a discounted online viewership. I could watch it live, right? Would I pay for that? I don't know that I would.
Because half of the reason to go to a concert
is the experience.
And so you're missing the experience. So is it worth it? In my opinion, it's not.
But see, if you go to a Grant Cardone, Gary Vee seminar, they pass around the microphone to the crowd, and you have to be one of the ones that they pick.
Well, not only that, though. So you have no
guarantee that you're going to get to ask your question to begin with.
But you get to mingle with thousands of like-minded people.
Sure.
Right? Because if they're at a Gary Vee intervention session, they're like-minded. Or if they're at a Grant Cardone thing, they're like-minded.
Yep.
So what's the value in being around a few thousand like-minded people? Mm-hmm. Right? Because think about, the whole Fight Club thing, and this has kind of gone full circle now. Think about the whole Fight Club thing between me and Stoley.
Yeah.
Me and Stoley are very like-minded. Mm-hmm. We think the same about business. We think the same about entrepreneurship. We think the same about side ventures, right? Stoley's all about side ventures.
Well, you can't.
And I try to do side ventures, but I feel like
no. You've got the weekend workshop stuff that
I
you do.
do have the weekend workshop stuff
that you do. That's your side project, and that's good. Right?
Well, and it's good money. I mean, you make a few $1,000s in a weekend.
Yeah, I feel like though that's why Jacob, the highly unpaid intern, makes such a great person to bounce ideas off of, because he is a business guy, but he is not like-minded like you.
No, and so he's going to bring different.
Yeah,
I was going to say he brings a more critical eye to it, but he doesn't. He just brings a different perspective.
Yes,
and
he thinks about things that other people don't necessarily think about, and it's better. It is better to have a different perspective on specific things.
And you're not business minded. You're just like, whatever, I will do what you tell me to do.
Yeah, but every once in a while, there's like this golden moment where I come up and I'm like, but what about this one thing? And you're like, oh, crap, what about that one thing?
That's a genius idea. And then we immediately forget it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But that kind of brings this whole chat full circle in the being around people that are like-minded. If you're a dentist and you're interested in marketing your practice, right? And there was a live seminar in, Austin, would you go to it?
How much does it cost?
Right. Okay.
How much is it going to cost?
How much does it cost? What do I learn? All that stuff.
How long am I going to be gone? How long am I going to not be able to do my business?
Is it a Saturday, Sunday thing? Is it a Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday thing?
Right.
I mean, that plays a lot into that whole would you pay for it. So that kind of brings it full circle. When you start thinking about content, don't think about content as being, black and white. It's got to be a YouTube video, or it's got to be a podcast, or it's got to be a blog article, or content can literally be anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had this conversation. Gary Vee records his entire life. So his entire life is content for him.
Yep.
So don't get focused in on content. It has to be this one certain thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing I want you to get out of this entire podcast is content can literally be anything that you produce for another person.
Right. For yourself, for anyone else, whatever you do, just make sure that it gives value.
Yes, absolutely. Has to give value and can't be a, constant sales pitch.
60-minute sales
Otherwise, pitch. It's just an advertisement, and advertisements are not content.
Right.
Now, if you want to find some amazing content, you can do so on our website at purpletieguys.com or really anywhere online at Purple Tie Guys. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Y'all, enjoy 2020.
Yes. And 2020, I do this every year. 2020 is my year. I started and never mind.